Hey everyone, Coach Roel here. Welcome back to our channel. And a lot has been happening with this whole coronavirus pandemic and the new normal. We've been quite busy around here. Things are going pretty well, actually. And I was able to corral Scott to be able to share some insights with us. We've been getting a lot of comments and concerns and questions about operating self-storage. So kind of wanted to ask Scott to just break it down for us for about 10 minutes about some of the challenges that some of our community members have been facing, some things to, if you weren't aware already, what to be aware of, and kind of give us a few pointers of what are his thoughts at this time. So welcome, Scott. How are you doing?
I'm great, Roel. How about yourself? You adjusting to the new normal?
Keeping well. Yeah. I'm here in Orlando. People are not really staying at home so much. I can see that there's a lot of traffic outside, but we're keeping well and healthy. How's your family?
Everybody is good. And, of course, Mom and I, we're very happy that the kids are all home and not able to go out as much. Now, if you ask them that same question, I think things would be a little bit different. Even they would answer it a little bit differently, but all is good here. We've got, now I brought my studio to the house. And so we continue to, we're putting out all kinds of even more educational materials and resources because, as you know, all eyes are on self-storage right now. So it's kind of good to be home even more so now, even though I already was working from home for the most part, but it's been good. We've actually been adjusting very well. And as you know, self-storage is just going gangbusters right now. So right now, everything's going well.
Well, this is what we've kind of been waiting for, right? In a sense. But let's jump in here. What are some of the challenges that you're finding from our community members with self-storage and with the whole new normal, so to say?
Yeah, so on the operations side, so our folks that are already in the business, the owners and operators, including ourselves, things have changed. We had to make some modifications to the way we do business. The good news is that once again, self-storage it is considered a business that they did not have to shut down. It was an essential business, and so with all but I think one or two states. So that being said, we do have to adhere to the guidelines, and we're putting up some glass in some of the offices. Many offices, they're able to stay back far enough to not have to be anywhere near a person or touch or share pens or anything else. And we've been, the industry, fortunately for many years, has been kind of a hands-off industry, anyways, or a no-touch. Our facilities that have kiosks and the ability to rent a unit online, whether it be through a website or through a smartphone, we haven't really missed a beat there. So I think more than anything, Roel, it's just been educating some of our clients, the folks that are coming in that need storage right now, that there is a way to be able to do that, and then a way to give assistance to those who may not be so tech savvy. Anytime in any of our facilities where there is some human interaction, or when somebody is entering into an office and there may be a keypad, if it's not touchless and everything has been wiped down, immediately we have our procedures, our new standard operating procedures in place for what it looks like to keep those offices clean. But outside of that, we've added some technology and implemented some technology in other places and ways to take payments a little bit easier. But for the most part, we're pretty much up to speed. So that's on our end. In terms of the industry itself, there are some folks that may have fallen behind. Their facilities weren't upgraded and didn't have those capabilities. And even some of the mom and pop owners that have owned for a number of years, or maybe in a rural area that didn't even have a website. And so they're scrambling to keep up. But for the rest of us, we've just been really keeping up with the increased demand and doing it in a way that is, again, adhering to the guidelines that is our new norm.
What would you say for some who have not really been so caught up? What would be the bare minimum that you can suggest that self-storage operators be mindful of?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think if they have a manager, if they're the owner, if it's a smaller facility and they're an owner operator, you got to make sure that people can find your phone number, and then that phone goes somewhere. So whether that's going to a call center or another company that can handle that rental for you, or if it comes to your house and you're the manager and you have access to the property management software, and can take that information over the phone and then give them access to the facility, whether it be through the gate code or if there isn't a fence around it, that they can still get into their unit, give them the proper number, and let them know what the procedures are. That is probably the bare minimum, is just that phone contact. If somebody does need storage, that they call you and make it clear on a website or on the signs out front. Again, beyond that, I think the best thing to do is very quickly get in touch with one of the many vendors out there in the marketplace that can set you up with a website that'll allow folks to be able to rent online. And then there's also the aggregators in the industry that they're already set up for this, and all they do is they drop it into your account. They have access to your property management software once you give it to them, and they can complete that rental for you for a fee.
Mm-hmm. What would you say is really the inherent advantages? I want to kind of keep this open for you to interpret too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe advantages that self-storage facilities have as from an operational side, also from an investing side.
Mm-hmm.
As I've heard you mention a couple of times, this is one of the things that we've kind of been waiting for. Unfortunately, a recession, a lot of people are in pain,
Mm-hmm.
but could you speak to that a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
really on the operations side, but also on kind of a bigger picture from an investor's
Sure.
point of view as well?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yep. So I know several people are coming to the show here, and a lot of the folks that ask you the questions on the episodes that I'm not on about the business that are looking at it maybe for the first time. And first of all, you're absolutely right, Roel. We are not deaf to what is going on out there in the world right now, and that this is a very serious situation for many folks. And not only with the virus, but also with the fact that now we're approaching 19 million people that are out of work, and that depending upon who you talk to and what economists, we're either in a recession or heading into it. That's for certain. And so, as you mentioned, yes, we've been preparing for this since 2012, and we know that self-storage does well during a recession. And that is because businesses downsize and individuals downsize, and they move back home, move in with each other. And with the unemployment numbers and many businesses that are shutting down, this time around we're seeing a higher demand and happening much faster. If we look back to 2008. The reason why we've been preparing for this is that we've seen that. We saw what happened in 2008 and then 9 and 10, where there was a huge absorption, an increase in occupancy and a decrease in vacancy across the self-storage landscape. Because also the last recession was caused by real estate, and that financing dried up for development projects. And so there was no new supply and facilities being built coming into the market, and this increase in demand. And so we saw a lot of facilities that were filling up, which is good for owners. And then they were able to raise rates after that. And then it wasn't really until about 2011 or 12 when we began coming out of it, where there was a lot of then new construction coming in line, and we and many other developers out there were also then building many facilities to catch up with that pent-up demand. So this time around, what is different is that real estate did not cause this recession. It was this virus that caused it. And where we thought last time from the last recession that we would have at least some indicators and maybe a ramp up of 90 days or so before we would really kind of see when we'd be heading into a recession. Within a week, businesses were shut down, and this little microscopic bug caused us to, head into that situation that none of us were prepared for very quickly. So for many self-storage owners and operators, we weren't really caught out in terms of, except for, maybe some of the nuances of the actual rental process, as we just talked about. For developers like ourselves, we did have to pivot and adapt a bit because the financing did look a little bit different. People weren't able to go out, so that affected some of our construction sites. Banks were getting a little bit, cautious with some of the projects that we had on our plate, and so we did go out and secure financing for some of those. I think there's one or two that maybe we put on pause for now. But by and large, that's just temporary because, again, what we'll see is we've already seen an increase in the the occupancy rate because colleges were shut down so early. So we had a big rush for the owners and operators immediately. And then what we saw is businesses that were closing businesses closing their doors and then having a need for storage for equipment and inventory, so causing another wave. And then when everybody was sent home to work as well with the lockdown, then a number of folks were scrambling to clear out a spare bedroom or their formal living room, like where you are right now, Roel, and
Virtually.
having to put their items in storage to make room for being able to work home and set up a desk and equipment, and for some cases for two spouses, for two folks to come home and have to find a place to be able to now create a workspace out of. So those are some of the changes that we've seen immediately, and now as we head into once those incentive plans, the PPP plans and the emergency relief funds, once those kind of work their way through the system and the landlords, stop with their free rent and late fees, and same with the mortgage companies, then we'll see that pain of that high unemployment rate. And once again, we'll be in a position, I predict probably 60 to 90 days from now, in which people will be moving in with each other, and other businesses will have to maybe shut their doors for good, or at least lease out some of their space and put more goods into storage. So again, we don't welcome a recession. We absolutely do not welcome what's happening right now in the marketplace, but we do have a business to run, and this is the business that we're in, and it's one of those businesses, fortunately, that does benefit from a downturn in the economy like what we're facing right now.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, one final reflection I'd like to ask of you is it that the table is kind of just tipping, and you're finding that community members are just finding new occupancy, new leases, people coming in, leasing up new storage units, and they're just kind of raking it in? Or as an active owner and or operator, should they still be marketing as much as they did before, or is it a time that they can kind of relax on that? What's your take on that?
Yeah, well, we operate as a store, essentially. I mean, self-storage is really like a retail establishment, and that, there's people that are always going to be moving out. They're done. They don't need storage any longer, and people always looking. And so it's not that we really don't stop our marketing. We have our website out in place where people can find us. We make sure that we utilize Google Ads. We do from time to time Facebook ads. So our marketing budget is pretty static. It's pretty constant. We may be running some additional specials in spring when people are moving around a little bit more and buying and selling houses. But right now, not a whole lot in the way of additional marketing, Roel, other than what we're changing is the way that we market, and just the message is that we, touchless rentals or contact free, and letting people know that, this is what we're doing. And also, there's a number of our facilities, I put a couple of messages out when we had our monthly, all manager and all facility calls about offering free rentals to frontline workers for 90 days. Anybody that's on the front line that's working in the medical community, that we were offering free rentals for those folks. There was also we had a number of other promotions for folks that were depending upon that specific area or that specific market. In terms of being a contact free, or promotions to certain folks. We were giving away some free units to other organizations that were maybe affected depending upon that city or that market. To once again, to do the right thing, but also then making sure that we were leveraging that and letting some of the news outlets know to get the word out even further. If there was a particular area or segment of the population that was struggling, we were offering free rentals, especially in our facilities that are in lease up, that we had the room to do so. Then we were offering that, and then making sure that the rest of the community knew it as well. So that's probably the biggest difference in terms of marketing, is the message being safe, contact free, putting some also free rentals out there in the marketplace, and then leveraging that with other media sources, and then just making sure that we're found, so that when people need us, that they're able to find us versus our competitors.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. Well, I understand you're quite busy. You got a lot on your plate right now. So
we do
really, really do appreciate you taking the time to spend a few minutes and sharing your insights. And we got to do this again in the near future.
Yep. We're looking forward to it, Roel. Thanks so much for taking care of the tribe and the community. And yep, we get a little breather, and we'll have another one of these, and got some other pieces that I want to get out on my own as time permits. So appreciate all of you out there. Hang in there. And thanks again, Roel.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Hey, thanks again for joining us here at Self-Storage Investing. We really, really appreciate it. For more great content like this, make sure to click the subscribe button below this video. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and BiggerPockets. You can also visit us at our main website at SelfStorageInvesting.com, where you'll find even more free content, our ebook, and registration to our free webinars and education courses, and much, much more. Once again, for more great content like this, please click the subscribe button below. Thank you.